alchemy. I like the study of it. I've been studying it for years, and I'd say all of it makes sense and all of it holds truth, in it. At least it does for me anyway. And I've been telling people with not just the alchemical charts, but if you go back and remember when you were in school, there was two charts. There was a chart. It was a periodic table in your science class, and basically it showed you all the table of contents in the periodic table, from copper, what is it, niacin or whatever, copper, plutonium, platinum, niacin, and all these other ones. But basically the periodic table, thinking about it, I probably only named a few, but compare the two and compare it to the alchemical table of contents, table chart, basically, because it has the same periodic table, the alchemical periodic table, and compare the two. Now you think of it like this, and I had to get a visual about it because it made sense. With every element, I'm not talking about the zodiac signs, the bottom, but basically the signs, or the table of contents, the signs on the alchemical table are basically transmutated as like a spell. And basically, the spell is the foundation from the chart, but it needs something to mix with. And what would it need to mix with? It would need a table of elements, or elements from the earth's core, just from the earth in general. Where do you think all these elements reside in? They have their own table. Bingo, it's the scientific periodic table. They pull it from the table, and basically with each spell, because different spell holds different properties and different communion with each other, but they are different. There's a purpose for each one of those spells from the alchemical table, and it has to mix with one of those, either one of those table of contents on the scientific table or on the periodic table. So let's say, for example, you need something with copper, or you would use a certain spell from the alchemical table to mix with. And especially if you're making creatures or you're splicing DNA, you would use blood for that, because both go hand in hand. Life in the blood, life in the graphene, and life basically is being produced from the alchemical table, pulling from the periodic table. And basically you can make things, not just creatures. I believe there were, these things were used for so much more than just creatures, but basically creatures, you could, a lot of these were used to make different creatures, to splice DNA, certain procedures of how to go about doing this and creating these things. So basically each table of content on the alchemical table, and I could probably make more videos and this go in more detail, are pulled from the chart of the scientific periodic table to mix with, because every element has a property, and with every property for both of these, when they're mixed, basically has a resolution in order for you, whatever you're creating or making, basically, but nevertheless it does take a certain amount of manifestations and energies, and yes, it is like a spell basically for each one and everything. Probably you would need the right seance for a different one of these table of contents, or these elements, to create whatever you're creating and to produce whatever you're wanting to produce. And really, if you get the visual in your head without even doing it, I don't commit any of it, but I'm just saying I like the details that go into it as well. When studying it and doing the research, it makes sense. So it's one of my videos, but probably making more in the future to discuss more of this alchemical table of contents. So mixing with the periodic table, no doubt. Very nice. Out.